I want you to imagine that there is a clock, and this clock rules your whole life. You can see it ticking hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second. And when this clock is at its end, so is your life. And in that split second, you're able to decide for yourself if you lived a fulfilling life. If you found meaning in the nothingness, you were able to enjoy your life for everything that it was, every joy and every sadness. You felt proud of it because, after all, it's the only life that we get, and it's this one. Time is running out, and yet we're always acting as if we have time to spare. There was one lonely night when I was taking the bus back from university, and this was during my first semester. I thought that when uni came, my life would have changed, that I would have been able to become a different person, that I would have new experiences, meet new people. But sure enough, just like high school, I stayed to myself. I went to my classes and I practically didn't speak to anybody. And every single day was becoming the same thing. I would get up, go to school for 8 a.m., and then I'd be coming back around 8 or 9 p.m. at night. During that bus ride back home, I remember looking out of the window and thinking to myself that if I stayed this way forever, I was going to die. I was going to die unfulfilled. I didn't even really know what that meant because at this point I've never really had any fulfilling moments in my life. At that point in life, I didn't love myself one bit. I really didn't have any aspirations, any motivation. I felt that I had nothing going for me, and so I just assumed that this cycle of unfulfillment would continue for the rest of my life. So this is my list on how to live a unfulfilling life. Repeat every single day the things that you dislike and which cause you to suffer. This can be working a job you dislike without a plan on how you will change things, listening to others and letting them talk you out of the things that you enjoy doing, consuming and doing the things that other people do, not because you enjoy them, but simply because other people do it. Don't attempt anything outside of your comfort zone. Stay where it feels safe and sound and be comfortable. Make sure that you don't voice any honest opinions that break the norm. Listen to the negative voice in your head. Every time you or someone you know tells you that you can't do something, listen to them. Never be vulnerable. Hide who you really are from others and be afraid. See feelings as a weakness. Choose short-term pleasure. Be compulsive in your desires. Chase and seek out everything that feels good without concern for the repercussions of your actions. Most importantly, develop a life of unfulfilling systems. It's better to compound bad habits, character traits, environments, and behaviors if you're surrounded and forced to do the things you constantly find unfulfilling. Honestly, probably 20 of my 24 years literally living an unfulfilling life. There were moments when I was pursuing valuable skills, valuable traits, valuable goals. When I was running marathons consistently, I ran 4 marathons within my first year of running. And I ran an ultra marathon, a 53K, but all right, it's not David Goggins level of being able to run or anything, but hey, it's probably more than most people I've ran. And I'm looking at you, younger me, who's judging me right now. And in all of those moments, I was proud of myself. I was exhausted. I was spent, but I knew I was doing what was meaningful for me, and so it felt worth it. And every time I take the easy route, every time I listen to the excuses, the illogical reasoning in my head about why I shouldn't wake up earlier, why I shouldn't be more authentic, why I shouldn't express myself, I feel this anxiety building up. And I know what it is. It's anxiety that I'm going to live a life that I regret. I'm not wasting time, I'm wasting my life. I'm valuing short-term pleasure over long-term meaning. Never actually what we want to do, but because we can only think in short-term bursts, we listen to it. We give up on things that are too hard. We give up on our lives. And I don't really want to do that anymore. See, we all want comfort at times, and It's the hardest thing for me to realize that comfort is also the killer of my dreams. Excuses are the killer of me living a fulfilling life. When you build your life around these unfulfilling systems, all of these bad habits that serve to build on each other until suddenly you find yourself stuck in a loop that you never even knew you created, but you find it so hard to break free of, it traps you. And in these moments, we have times when we want to break it. When we get this urge to do something out of the norm, something that might be out of our comfort zone and our current set of skills. But we don't listen to it because we listen to the voice in our head that is logical, but is actually just negative and cynical and nihilistic for no reason other than to shut you down out of breaking free of that pattern. Because there are different parts of us, and we need to be able to start listening to the part of us that is pursuing meaning above all else. Nobody can tell you how to find meaning in life or what is meaningful and what is not. For me, I find meaning in being able to run because it's something extremely difficult and I honestly suck at it. But if I were to have listened, if I were to have given up on running a marathon because it didn't make sense to somebody else, or if I had listened to the voice in my head that told me it was too hard, that I literally wasn't built to run, I never would have ran my first marathon. But if I never ran that first marathon, I would have never known how meaningful it was for me to cross the finish line after suffering for not just the couple of hours it took for me to finish it, but the days, the weeks, the months leading up to it, training nearly every day. There were times when I would be running in between work. I'd take my break just to run a kilometer or two up and down the street while I still could. And I would ask myself, why am I even doing this? But it also felt like I was working towards something. I felt like I was working towards discovering the strength that I had within me that I never would have been able to find if I had just stayed conventional, if I had just stayed comfortable, stayed complacent, and continued repeating all of the unfulfilling habits that I had before. And those habits would feel good in the moment. I just knew that there was more out there for me, and I had to figure that out for myself. That's what I find meaningful, is discovering more of what I'm capable of and also how far I'm able to push myself. We have to push ourselves to do the things that most people don't want to do. And that's where I have been finding my meaning. Where you find your meaning is up to you. It's so easy to listen to that train of thought that wants to take us out of doing anything of meaning. It's not worth it to talk to that person. Why should we push ourselves after already going to work today? We don't have anything of value to say, so why even say it? When I listen to that voice, I find myself repeating a unfulfilling system. I shut myself out of doing hard things, trying to find meaning in it, and most importantly, I shut myself down from being myself. The version of me that I can actually be proud of, not the one who sits and stays comfortable inside and doesn't bother risking it for something that he wants to do. I'm discovering that if I want to pursue meaning, I have to be willing to sacrifice some sort of comfort and really question the way that I've been living my life up until now. The unfulfilling system of just ignoring everything that I want to do and listening to that negative voice in my head that tells me I need to do drugs, that I need to eat unhealthy food, that I need to be emotionally reactive when it doesn't help. All of these things have led me astray from pursuing what's really meaningful. That's doing the hard things, having authentic relationships, and being honest with my true desires to differentiate myself from the boy that I was, the boy who just wanted to stay inside and hide from the world because he was too scared to show himself. But I'm done being that boy now. I'm done obeying all of the unfulfilling systems that I follow because I don't want an unfulfilling life.